On behalf of Veterans in Politics International, I would like to thank you for coming this evening. I just want to give a brief overview of this process. The panel members will be given a 30-second introduction of themselves, and then you will be given 1 minute to introduce and explain why you were seeking the endorsement from Veterans in Politics. Not that there's anybody next to you, but this is not a debate. And so I won't be rude and stop you mid-sentence. And because you are the only person at the table, I'm going to give you a lot more time than we would initially allot for. At the end of each answer question portion, each candidate will be given a minute for a closing statement. So with that being said, my name is Talicia Sandoval. I am currently a student at UNLV and pre-law, and I am Michael Broadway's assistant.
Hi there. My name is Michael Broadway. I am a real estate broker and do a lot with Veterans in Politics. This is my, I think, 8th or 9th year of doing endorsement interviews.
Hello, Karen Singalasa, resident of Clark County. I'm a software developer.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a minute or so to give a brief introduction of yourself and then also why you're seeking the endorsement.
So my name is Lynn Marie Goya. I am the Clark County Clerk. I am the incumbent, and I am looking for re-election. I have been in office for 7 years now. There's a couple main things that the Clark County Clerk does. One of the main one is run the Marriage License Bureau and work with the wedding industry. And the other one is we keep the permanent public records for the county for all the boards and commissions. We do some other things, but those are the two major jobs. Why I'm seeking the Veterans in Politics endorsements. Before I was the county clerk, I was a freelance writer. And right before I was the county clerk, I was the managing editor for Veterans in Politics. For Veterans Journal. And so I had worked with veterans and for veterans for a number of years, covered most of the issues that were around at the time, including, the veterans' disability, the backlog at the Veterans Administration, PTSD, sexual issues in the military. So this is something that I'm still passionate about, even though my job doesn't directly have anything to do with veterans. And so I would love to have your endorsement because I think you are an incredible community that has political power and should.
All right, so we would first like to start, and what does the Clark County Clerk do? Because I think that a lot of people at home might be confused as to what that role would entail.
So the clerk's office is one of the smaller departments within the Clark County. And so one of the main things that we do, we are in the Regional Justice Center, and we have the Marriage License Bureau. The Marriage License Bureau in Clark County is the largest in the world. So we are a number one destination place for weddings, and we bring in about $2.5 billion a year in economic activity through weddings. We are 4% of the visitor volume. People come for weddings. Of those people that come for weddings, we have more first-time visitors. We have younger visitors. Millennials are getting married. We have more international visitors, not the last year or two, but before COVID happened, we were about 20 to 23% international, which is a very good number. And first-time visitors, once they come, they want to come back. So we feel like that's a great industry. I also just put on a history exhibit on weddings at the Rotunda in the County Government Center. I'd love you guys to come look at it. It's through May 5th. It's open to anyone. There's no charge. And what we did is trace how did Las Vegas become the wedding capital of the world, and how did that become such an important industry for Clark County and for Nevada. The other main thing that the clerk's office does is I keep the permanent public records for the county boards and commissions. And so if you want to know what your county is doing, almost all of the financial decisions and the decisions on where to spend money, but how also to solve the problems of the county, go through the county commission. The county is really where all the action happens. So UMC, homelessness, veterans issues, parks, the roads, all those go through the county and the county budget. And so by having those permanent public records, that's our history. That's what who makes the decisions on how we became the community that we are. So this is your life, and this is why the permanent public records are so important. And so what I've been trying to do since I came into office is take the records from 1909 when the county was founded forward and digitize all of those. And then I'm looking for a Google-like search engine so that from the comfort of your home, you can look back and find out what the county did and how we made the decisions that we did.
Yeah.
Hi, Mrs. Goya. Did I say that right? Okay. What are the aside of COVID, I know that was a kick in the tail for everybody, but with regards to that, what are the 3 things that need to improve from your perspective and your seat?
We've been working hard. Actually, this will be my 3rd term if I'm reelected, and we've been working hard on a number of things. 2 of them that I already mentioned. When I took office, the wedding industry told me that they were in trouble and they couldn't get anyone to listen. And I said, well, if I get elected, you will at least have somebody to talk to, and people will have to talk to me because I'm an elected official. So they may not do what I want, but at least they'll have to listen to me. And so I have a degree in economics, and so I like numbers. So I ran the numbers and found that there was a 20-year decline in wedding tourism, and we are about half the volume that we were 20 years ago. So if it's a $2.5 billion industry today, if we were at the same volume, we would be a $5 billion industry today. There's 18,000 people that are directly employed through wedding tourism, not including all of the auxiliary businesses that are also functioning and having some support from wedding tourism. If you go to a restaurant and ask them if they ever do weddings or they ever do receptions, they'll tell you they do. The spas, all the auxiliary businesses. Because when people come to Clark County to get married, they stay in the hotels, they eat at the restaurants, they go to the shows, they might go to, have the whole family go to a spa, they might get the cabana that they wouldn't normally get because you're at your wedding and you're doing extra money. So that's one of the main things we've been working on, and it's we've seen a slight turnaround. And so I want to make sure that turnaround is permanent. And then the permanent public records, we're almost finished digitizing those. And once they're digitized, we're looking for a solution for the search engine. So those are the 2 main problems. And of course, you always want to make your government more efficient.
Thank you.
Okay, so what is your method for ensuring that all court records or all records stay up to date?
I am not the clerk of the court. That's 2 different things. So I am the county clerk, and so I am the clerk for the board and commissions. And how do we keep the records up to date? We start with a digital format. All those are sent around to everyone to review. And then when the board votes on contracts, we make sure that all that is signed, and then we digitize that and put it into our archives.
From the outside looking in, this seems like a rather bipartisan seat, but you mentioned earlier that you were a Democrat and your opponent is a Republican running against you. What separates you from him, and why should we endorse you?
I can't say what separates me from him. It is a partisan race. In other words, you have to declare what party you're part of. But as far as I can tell, there's nothing partisan about the office. There's nothing that should be partisan about the office. But I don't know I don't know anything about him, if you want to know the truth. What I am trying to do is make sure that weddings increase, that we work with the industry to solve some of the problems within the industry, that we get publicity so that people think about us, and we increase wedding tourism again. With the records, obviously that's really important to me. I was a freelance journalist, and I've gone to public archives to look for information, so that is available to the press and to the public is very important to me. So those are the 2 main things that I've been working on. And to me, those aren't partisan at all. So government transparency and increasing the economic impact of wedding tourism are my 2 main goals. I've also done a lot to streamline our services, and so we have been able to save the county $300,000 to $500,000 a year. That adds up. And so we are trying to do everything we can to streamline services, improve customer service, make sure that experience from couples that are coming from all over the world and all over the country have a wonderful time and starting at the Wedding License Bureau. So we're open from 8 a.m. to midnight, 365 days a year. So keeping staff is always an issue, but we think we provide excellent public service, and that's our goal.
Can you chat a little bit what was our I guess you're doing it per married couple prior to COVID, and then with the downturn of COVID, and where do we stand now based upon the end of 2019 before COVID hit?
So COVID was really interesting because I think it showed the whole community how important weddings were. So when everything else was shut down, people still came here to get married because before we closed down, it was the first time in our history that we closed the Marriage License Bureau. And then we made sure that we were opening up safely. So, excuse me. There really weren't protocols on how to, everything that we're doing now, the social distancing, the cleaning, there really weren't protocols when we shut down. And so we wanted to make sure that we had those things in place before we opened back up. So we were closed for 6 weeks. And by the time we opened back up, we had stationed somebody in the lobby to make sure that we weren't letting people in and into big crowds. I also reached out to the wedding industry and said, if we're going to have people coming to get their license, they're going to want to go get married. So what are you guys going to do to ensure that the chapels are also just as safe as the Marriage License Bureau? And so they came up with protocols again that they kind of adopted as a group, and they posted it on their site. And I'm really happy to say that we haven't had one wedding-related COVID incident in Clark County, which I think is amazing and wonderful. We are also trying to capture, how should I say this? We're also trying to let people know that we are a safe place, and we have been a safe place for them to come get married. So during 2020, when we shut down, we actually ended the year only down 23% for the year. And many businesses told me that weddings kept them alive because people were still coming here to get married because we had made it so safe. And we got national recognition for being safe in Clark County. We were on the front page business section of the New York Times saying that Las Vegas was open for weddings. And so those are the kinds of things that we did to make sure that people did know that they could come here to get married. And then last year we were actually up over 2019. So it's a core industry. It's been here since we were formed, and it's really shown its resiliency and how important it is to the local economy.
Okay, so we have time for one more question. And then after that, I will give you a minute to give your wrap up, your website and all of that.
Okay, so you seem very passionate about the work that you do. What aspect of your work do you enjoy the most?
I have the best staff in the county, not just the county government, but the county. I think that my staff is amazing. They are creative and passionate as well. They love it when we're busy, and they try to do an excellent job. And I love working with them. And as a team, that a lot of the stuff that we've done has been a team effort. It's not my particular efforts on my own. I couldn't do it without everyone that I work with. And I really do appreciate their passion and creativity on how we can make sure that this industry that's been around since the county was founded continues to be the wedding capital of the world.
Great answer. that was a great answer. All right. So I'm going to give you a minute to wrap up, give your closing statement, where people can reach you, how they can support you. And if you want to look at that camera right there into Facebook Live, that way we can speak to the people at home. And go ahead.
Well, thank you for watching this. I appreciate your time. I know that there's a lot of candidates to get through, and these administrative offices aren't the most exciting to talk about, but they actually are quite exciting to be in part of. So I've loved my time as the county clerk. You can see my achievements and my staff's achievements at www.lynnmariegoya.com, probably more than you want to read. And you can join my campaign at lynnmariegoya.com. So I look forward to hearing from you. Please send me an email, give me a call, and I would love to talk to you about what I do and how you can help.
Thank you so much.